DC has been under fire for quite some time, and one of their biggest characters and essentially the original superhero, Superman, has especially struggled in making an impact in the modern age. But has a fan favorite late night cartoon block possibly just saved the Man of Steel? What's up, Nerdgenic Nation? Superhero nerd Aaron Waller here, and today I wanted to talk about the new animated Superman series, My Adventures with Superman, that is aired on Cartoon Network's Adult Swim and then released the following day on Max. But before we dive into the video, let's first take a moment to talk about our channel partner, Boosteroid. Boosteroid is a cloud gaming platform that allows you to play many popular PC titles on practically any device. Before Boosteroid, there were many popular games that I wanted to revisit, like the Batman Arkham games, The Witcher 3, and Star Wars Battlefront 2. But without having a high-powered PC and wanting to shell out a ton of money to rebuy these games, this seemed almost impossible. Boosteroid, however, solves that problem by providing you with unlimited cloud gaming time using its service. And the best thing is that all you need is a basic internet connection to enjoy it. For just under $10 a month, you can sign up to play popular games via the cloud, jump in and play multiplayer or any popular RPG, and never have to worry about constantly keeping up with the latest specs required for each title. And Boosteroid's library of games is constantly increasing on a weekly basis, as they were just recently purchased by Microsoft, so many of their titles like Gears 5, Grounded, and Deathloop will be available to play through their platform soon. So what are you waiting for? You can try out Boosteroid using the link down in the description, and by signing up, you're helping to support this channel. And with that, let's go ahead and get into my initial thoughts of My Adventures with Superman. As you can imagine, the series follows Clark Kent as he builds his secret Superman identity and embraces his role as the hero of Metropolis while sharing adventures with Lois Lane and Jimmy Olson. This animated series features the boys Jack Quaid as Clark Kent, Alice Lee as Lois Lane, and Ishmel Sahid as Jimmy Olson. And honestly, I have no complaints here. Jack Quaid isn't exactly what I would envision as the voice of Superman, though listen to my voice, it sounds absolutely terrible. But I think that he really nails the character and might already be in contention for my favorite animated Superman voice alongside George Newbern. And as for Lois and Jimmy, they too are not also who I would have initially picked, but seemingly follow suit of Quaid and fit this adaptation interpretation of both extremely well. As for the visuals of this series, they're much more anime inspired, though it's not actually anime. Kinda like how Avatar The Last Airbender was anime inspired, though it technically wasn't, yet it still somehow gets lumped into the top anime series in a lot of people's lists. But this inspired style too seems to be getting incorporated a lot more into the animated DC properties, as we've seen with the likes of Catwoman Hunted, Ruby X Justice League, and the upcoming Suicide Squad Isekai. I have no idea if I said that right, my apologies if I did say it incorrectly. But honestly, I kind of like seeing Superman in this style. It gives a lot more of that optimistic feeling to it that I think Superman is often more associated with, as is his personality, and it's actually a lot more fun to see at times. And if you combine this with the visual action style of anime, it works extremely well with Superman, his abilities, and even the enemies that he faces. And this series does do a few things that I think take liberties with Superman and his story that we're familiar with, such as with his ship that is left at the Kent farm, but given the style and story direction that they're taking, I actually kind of like it. His powers manifesting are refreshingly different, though not necessarily groundbreaking by any means. The suit is actually pretty cool. The Power Rangers-esque suit-up sequence was kinda weird, but also kinda fun, and the symbol's pretty awesome. My only real complaint for this series thus far, which is more of a nitpick, is the relationship between Lois and Clark. We've only seen 2 episodes thus far, and they're already dancing around their relationship and liking one another. Which, don't get me wrong, this is the ideal end goal, that they get married and have a relationship, and we have a nice segue into the Superman and Lois live action series. But I've just always felt that Lois was and or should be a lot more career focused, that she wouldn't even really acknowledge Clark or even see him as anything beyond a coworker that's helping her with her latest story, while Clark is a bit more interested in her than she is with him. But it feels like they're going for a more romantic, awkward teenagers who like each other but don't really say anything angle than making it more of a Superman series, despite the obvious amount of Superman related story beats and action sequences. I just think that it could affect the overall progression of the show, as it's already been picked up for a second season, and it could be one of those things that they feel like they pulled the trigger on just a little too early, especially if their story development just wasn't quite ready to handle it yet. But other than that, I'm really loving this series so far, especially how they're telling this story, how it doesn't really feel rushed, and how we don't have to see the same origin pieces play out over and over again. I would even say that My Adventures with Superman is probably the most engaged I have felt with anything Superman in the past decade since probably Man of Steel, and definitely the most engaged from an animated series standpoint since Amazon Prime's Invincible. And surprisingly, it's actually a really great time to be a Superman fan, I mean, sure, fan favorite Henry Cavill is out, but we have a new movie on the way from James Gunn that they just recently cast their Superman lead actor in David Corenswet. Superman and Lois has been one of the few, if not the only, CW superhero show to survive and be renewed for a season 4, and now we have this awesome new animated Superman series. My Adventures with Superman is a fun, heartwarming take on a character that has had a rough go for the better part of the past few decades. I'm just really excited to see more of this series as it develops, as there are a lot of pieces on the table to a larger DC world that I think they're likely to build out, including Amanda Waller, Task Force X aka the Suicide Squad, Slade Wilson, and a lot more, so I can't wait to see where things go from here. So those are my initial thoughts on My Adventures with Superman, and now I want to hear from you in the Nerdgenic community. Have you seen My Adventures with Superman? If so, what did you think? How are you feeling about the style, the direction, and just the series overall? Let me know down in the comment section down below, and also be sure to let me know if you want me to talk more about each episode as it's released. But also while you're down there, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell notification so you don't miss out on any future videos from me or the rest of the Nerdgenic team. And also be sure to give us a follow across all social media platforms at Nerdgenic. That way you don't miss out on any special news, announcements, or articles at nerdgenic.com. But in the meantime, if you want even more video content from us, check out this awesome video on Superman right over here. Or for more DC content, check out this playlist right over here. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, we really do appreciate it, and we hope to see you in the next video.